There's something nobody tells you about self-improvement. The more serious you become, the smaller your circle gets. At first, it feels empowering. You wake up early, you train, you read, you work on yourself. You stop wasting time. You stop entertaining nonsense. And slowly, you outgrow certain environments. Conversations feel shallow. Parties feel draining. Small talk feels pointless. You tell yourself, I'm evolving, and maybe you are. But then something else happens. Your phone gets quieter, invitations slow down, group chats don't feel the same. And one day, you realize you built discipline, but you also built distance. Nobody warns you about that part, because online, self-improvement looks powerful, focused, isolated, unbothered. But in real life, humans aren't built for isolation, and that's where the real conflict begins. At first, you don't notice it because growth feels exciting. You're improving your body, your mindset, your discipline. You feel sharper, more aware. And when you become more aware, something strange happens. You start seeing gaps. Gaps in conversations, gaps in ambition, gaps in priorities. Things that used to entertain you don't hit the same. Jokes feel repetitive. Complaints feel exhausting. Late nights feel unnecessary. So you pull back, not because you hate anyone, but because you're trying to protect your focus. And that makes sense until protection slowly turns into isolation. You stop replying as fast, you skip events, you say, I'm busy more often. And eventually, people stop asking. That's the part nobody prepares you for. Self-improvement teaches you how to build yourself, but it doesn't teach you how to grow without disconnecting. There's a subtle shift that happens. You start measuring relationships the same way you measure productivity. Is this useful? Is this aligned? Is this helping me grow? And while that sounds mature, it can quietly strip warmth out of your life. Not every conversation needs to be deep. Not every friendship needs to be strategic. Not every moment needs to be efficient. But when you're deep in self-improvement mode, everything becomes evaluated, and constant evaluation creates distance. You don't feel misunderstood, you feel separate. And separation, over time, feels heavy. Because ambition is exciting, but shared ambition is energizing. Working alone builds discipline. Growing with others builds resilience. And if you don't consciously balance the two, you wake up one day disciplined, but alone. And here's the dangerous part. You start convincing yourself that loneliness is a badge of honor. You tell yourself, winners move alone. High-value men don't need anyone. Isolation builds strength. It sounds powerful. It feels strong, but it's only half the truth, because discipline and disconnection are not the same thing. Silence can build focus, but too much silence starts building walls. And walls don't just keep distractions out, they keep connection out too. The internet romanticizes the lone wolf, the guy grinding in silence, no friends, no distractions, just work. But real strength isn't isolation, it's selective connection. It's knowing who to keep, who to release, and who to grow with. If you cut everyone off, you don't become elite, you become emotionally unavailable. There's a difference. Self-improvement should upgrade your relationships, not delete them. If your growth makes you arrogant, that's ego. If your growth makes you detached, that's imbalance. Real evolution looks different. You still train, you still focus, you still protect your time, but you don't lose your humanity in the process. Because at the end of the day, success without connection feels empty. And deep down, you already know that. Here's the psychological truth nobody talks about. When you start improving, your identity begins to shift. And identity shifts are uncomfortable, not just for you, but for the people around you. Your old self had a place in the group, the funny one, the chill one, the always available one. But the new version of you, more disciplined, more selective, more serious, that changes the dynamic. And when dynamics change, people feel it. Some get inspired. Some feel judged, even if you never judge them. Some feel like they're losing access to you. So they pull back, or you pull back first. And now it's not just loneliness, it's transition. You're between identities. You don't fully belong to your old environment anymore, but you haven't built your new one yet. That middle phase, that's the hardest part of self-improvement, because it feels like loss. You miss the simplicity. You miss the random laughs. You miss not overthinking everything. But you also can't go backwards. And that tension creates emotional isolation. This is where many people either regress to fit back in or harden themselves emotionally. Both are extremes. Real growth requires something more difficult: integration. Keeping your standards high without losing warmth. Evolving without disconnecting from your humanity. Because the goal was never to become untouchable. The goal was to become better. And better includes emotional intelligence too. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think the solution to loneliness and self-improvement is more isolation. They double down on focus. They cut more social time. They avoid people who don't understand their grind. And it only makes the problem worse. The real solution is intentional connection. Not every conversation needs to be strategic. Not every interaction needs to serve a goal. Not every friendship needs productivity attached to it. But you do need selective connection. You need people who energize you, people who challenge you, people who inspire you, people who care, even if they aren't grinding the same way you are. I started deliberately scheduling connection into my life. A quick call with a friend, a dinner without thinking about efficiency, a walk just to talk. At first, it felt like wasted time. But slowly, I realized that these moments restored energy. They sparked ideas. They reminded me why I'm building in the first place. Self-improvement isn't about moving alone. It's about moving intentionally. Protect your focus, yes. Protect your time, absolutely. But protect your heart, too. Because success without relationships is lonely, and loneliness without purpose is painful. When you balance discipline with connection, your growth becomes sustainable. Your energy becomes stable, and your mind doesn't just sharpen, it thrives. Here's the ultimate truth. Self-improvement isn't meant to make you alone. It's meant to make you stronger, clearer, more capable. But strength without connection is hollow. Clarity without companionship feels cold. Capability without empathy is incomplete. The people who inspire you, the moments that make you laugh, the subtle conversations that spark new ideas, they aren't distractions, they're fuel. So if you feel isolated while growing, don't panic. It's normal, it's temporary, and it's a signal to integrate, to stop cutting yourself off, to start choosing relationships intentionally, to reclaim warmth while keeping discipline. That's the balance nobody teaches. You can wake up early, you can work hard, you can build extraordinary focus, but still laugh with friends, still enjoy life, still feel human. Because growth isn't about leaving the world behind, it's about stepping into it fully. And the moment you embrace that, discipline becomes freedom, productivity becomes joy, ambition becomes purpose. You're no longer lonely, you're intentional, you're alive, and that is the real power of self-improvement.